Hello, beautiful people of God. Today I wanted to do a reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verses 18 through 21, and then we'll discuss further. And it says, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field will honor me, the jackals and the ostriches, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, to give drink to my people, my chosen. This people I have formed for myself. They shall declare my praise." So this chapter of the book of Isaiah was written during the Israelites' Babylonian exile. And I would imagine that they were in a state of looking at the former things, looking at their past sins, their past failures as a people, as well as the good times when they were in the promised land. And now they're in this state of helplessness and hopelessness. But God is telling them to not consider the things of old. And in the same way, we as believers in Jesus Christ are being asked to not look at the former things, not look at our past sins, our past mistakes, or even the good times when things might have seemed easier, might have seemed like life was just more simple. But we are to focus on the new thing that God is doing. And it says, "It shall spring forth." When I hear that, I think of a little seedling that's coming out of the ground, when it just starts peeking out from that soil and you see that new life emerging. But sometimes when we walk away and we don't check on the seedlings, we don't realize that they're coming out of the ground. It's only when we start to peek at them that we see that they're just emerging. And so God is illustrating that to us, that if we don't pay attention to what he's doing, then we're going to miss it, right? Because God is always working under the surface. He is always working behind the scenes to make new things happen in our lives. But if we don't pay attention in the spiritual realm through prayer and just through a relationship with him, and if we don't stand in faith and in trust of him and his promises and what he wants to do in our lives, then not only can we miss it, but we won't be praying into that. Now, the enemy wants us to be distracted by the past, by the sins, the mistakes, and even the good times. But as believers in Jesus Christ, that's not what we're to do. And it continues to say, "I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Yes, God promises to make pathways for you and me in places of hopelessness and helplessness. No matter how impossible the situation may seem, he will make a pathway, and he will put rivers in the desert. Now, rivers and water in general are symbolic of life. Wherever there's rivers, there's life. So he's going to put that life in your most dry and desolate situation. And it continues to say that the jackals and the ostriches will honor him, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I always find it interesting when God uses animals in the Bible to illustrate his points. And I believe that in this case, the jackals and the ostriches are archetypes, are representations of us humans, us believers, right? So I was led to do a little research on jackals and ostriches. And what I found out was very interesting, because jackals and ostriches both are known to live in ruins of former cities and other areas abandoned by humans. Jackals also feed on carrion, which is dead animal remains. So they're associated with impurity and uncleanness, just like we may be impure and unclean before we trust in God, before we're cleansed of our sins. And ostriches, they are known to lay their eggs and abandon them to hatch without their mothers there to take care of them. So that kind of is symbolic of isolation and abandonment, the way that we may feel when sometimes we may feel like God has abandoned us, like he's not there. We don't feel him there. We don't feel his presence. So in this book of Isaiah, using these archetypes, God is saying that he will make those animals honor him, just like he will make us honor him when he gives us waters in our wilderness and rivers in our desert situations. And he says that he has formed us for himself. He has chosen us for himself. Even if we feel like he has abandoned us, he created us for himself, and he values us, and he wants to bring us out of that dry, out of that hopeless, out of that lonely and isolated and desolate situation. This is his promise to us. And I wanted to encourage you with that. No matter what you're going through, you might feel like God is distant, God is just not there. Know that he's working behind the scenes and under the surface to make changes in your life that you will see spring forth very soon. And he doesn't want you to look at the past, just look at the present and just focus on him as he does his amazing miracle working works in your life. I thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a blessed day.